Good morning, girls. I am a little sick right now recording this, so excuse my voice and any coughing fits I have. I'm gonna try to hold back my cough. I wanted to go over really like the ideal pre-workout meal or snack, especially if you're someone that likes to work out first thing in the morning or just like before breakfast. So this is something that a lot of people don't get right, and then they'll, go do their workout and feel like crap. They'll feel weak, shaky, lightheaded, woozy, and that is not serving anyone, and it's gonna make it really hard for you to make any, progress in the gym, and therefore any progress in your physique if you're not properly fueling your body so that you have the strength and the stamina to execute a proper workout. So this is something that, it is a little bio-individual in a sense. So like when I give you parameters, they're just parameters, and you might feel really, really good with more carbs than I say, or more protein, or, whatever, or, play around with it. The only thing I will say is I have people that swear to me up and down, like, I just do best on a fasted workout. I feel my stomach full of food if I eat anything before I do a workout. And like, if you're talking about a cardio workout, like a 30-minute spin class, then you might be okay fasted, okay? If you were talking about like a longer, more endurance, run or something, I would not do that fasted. But when we're talking about a strength training workout, a resistance training workout, you really do need fuel to properly lift. So I would just kind of give it your best shot and be open-minded. If you're like, no, my stomach will be gurgly the whole time, just try it. I'm not having you, at least in our programs, I'm not having you do a bunch of jumping or sprints or like anything really, really crazy where you're gonna feel food sloshing around. We're literally like sitting down and doing bicep curls. Sure, you're doing squats, sure, you're doing hip thrusts, but I'm also not saying you should, eat 2 minutes before your workout. Like, ideally, you're giving yourself at least 30 minutes before you work out. But I'm actually to the point now, and I really theorize it's because my metabolism is so much faster now. I'm literally to the point that I could be eating a protein bar while I'm warming up, and then I go do my first set of squats, and I feel fine. So please be open-minded about this if you're someone that's like very into like fasting for a workout. I really want you to try this and see if you feel a difference. So I got these guidelines by Dr. Stacy Sims. Yeah, Dr. Stacy Sims. She is really well known in like the menopause space. Excuse me. She's obviously extremely educated, and she's found this like perfect ratio for a pre-workout meal. And if you like Google pre-workout snacks and everything, there's some pretty good ideas, but I like to just have parameters to give people, especially since we're tracking macros. This can just help you, weed out like the protein bar that doesn't actually have any protein in it, because that won't work, or weed out like something you see on Google for like a pre-workout snack, but it's literally just straight carbs, or it's just straight fat and there's no balance. So here's the parameters that she gives that I really thrive off of as well, and a lot of my clients like this too. So it's about 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrates, about 10 to 15 grams of protein, and then really minimal fat and fiber. There could be a little fat in there, a little fiber in there, but those are the two things, fat and fiber, that are gonna really weigh you down and make you feel kind of like, ugh, I'm too full. So carbs, 20 to 30 grams, protein, 10 to 15 grams, minimal fat and fiber. This is gonna help keep your blood sugar stable, which personally, that is what I feel now. If I go into a workout fasted, I feel shaky within 10 minutes. I feel like I need to go eat right now. Like, I start getting all the low blood sugar symptoms. This reduces your cortisol response, which is really amazing and important, because if we're talking more like holistically about, not just like our physique goals and all that, but like our health, which plays back into our physique, by the way. But it's a similar concept to like the person that wakes up and drinks coffee before they ever have a glass of water or before they eat any food. your cortisol is highest first thing in the morning. So the last thing you want to do is increase your already high cortisol in the morning. We want to support it, and you know, that's nice. It helps us kind of get up in the morning and get going, but we don't want to make it even higher and have an even higher spike. So eating something before you do something a bit more like high stress, like working out, it's really going to help blunt that cortisol response. This also just helps with muscle preservation and power output because of, like I said, we're actually like better fueled, so we can actually give more power, more strength, and therefore preserve more muscle mass. And you know, this kind of goes back to like the hormones and, you know, just supporting your body more holistically. It is eating before a lifting session especially is really supportive of our hormones, especially women that are already dealing with hormonal imbalances or are in a really high stress period or are in the postpartum phase or the perimenopause phase. So really, really important. Please don't skip this. So some ideas, I like to call it just like a 2-to-1 ratio. So like double the amount of carbs for protein, 2-to-1 ratio. 2 is the carbs, 1 is the protein. So it would be, for example, you could do like a piece of sourdough toast. I recommend sourdough that's actually been fermented, not just full of, you know, like processed wheat, but like a slice of sourdough toast. You could do that with like a boiled egg. You could do like a little bit of butter. You could do with some nut butter. Is this gonna get your 10 grams of protein? Probably not quite, because nut butter, 1 tablespoon of nut butter or 1 hard-boiled egg is only like 5 or 6 grams of protein. So, but that's an option if you want to start with that. You could do a banana, which is high carb, obviously, with like half a scoop of protein powder. It could be whey protein powder, vegan, bone broth. We're just looking for a half amount of protein. So that 10 grams with a banana, throw it in a shake. There you go. You could do like a 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of cooked oats. And you could do it once again with like half a scoop of protein powder, or you could do it with like a little bit of nut butter, but once again, nut butter is not quite as full of protein. You can do it with a little bit of nut butter and a little bit of hemp seeds, I guess. And then honestly, like my go-to is a small energy / protein bar that has about the 20 grams of carbs and the 20 grams of and 10 grams of protein. So I don't have one on me today, but my favorite is the Paleo Valley brand. And like, I know I talk about them a lot because I'm also obsessed with their protein powder, but I love this protein bar so much. I continue to buy it. I pay my own money for it, even though they like sent me it initially. I love it so much, and I love the ratio of it. I think it's exactly 20 grams of carbs and exactly 10 grams of protein. It is bone broth based, so no, it's not a complete protein, but this isn't a meal that needs to be like a complete protein source. This is just a pre-workout snack, okay? You're gonna need your complete protein sources in breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I think it's called their like superfood bar or something. It's got a lot of amazing ingredients in it. I think it even has like vegetables in it, but it is delicious. I will link it for you guys and post a picture of one if I can find a picture, but it is so delicious, and it gives me like just the right amount of energy I need without weighing me down. So highly recommend. If you guys have any specific questions, if you want more ideas for pre-workout snacks, I'm happy to give you some, but this is definitely a really overlooked aspect of people's fitness journey, and I think it should be one of the first things you really change and prioritize. So if you're not already eating before your workouts, try one of these snacks out and let me know how much better you feel. To just kind of end this, because I feel like I'll get questions. If you're not someone that works out first thing in the morning, if you're like Savannah, I usually work out at lunch, or I usually work out after work or whatever before dinner, that would be still after work / before dinner would still be a great time to have a pre-workout snack like this, especially if you haven't eaten since lunch. If you're someone that's going to work out after dinner, you don't need to have a pre-workout snack, you just ate. If you're gonna work out before lunch and you have not eaten since breakfast, this pre-workout snack would once again be great. If you are someone that likes to like have a 10 a.m. snack, but you're not gonna work out until noon, then make sure your 10 a.m. snack has at least 20 grams of carbs, and I would say probably more like 15 to 20 grams of protein. Something that's a little bit more satiating because you're not gonna lift for another 2 hours, and it could have fat and fiber in it because you've got some time to still properly digest everything before you go work out. So if you have any specific questions around the timing, let me know. I would say for pre-workout snack, usually 30 minutes or a little more before your workout is awesome. But if it's this light of a snack, you're probably gonna be fine eating it and then just like hitting the gym right after. Okay, that's everything. Let me know if you have any questions.